The analysis is complete. Eat Sleep Code Repeat hat has been identified with high confidence.
Oh man, it's time to get things started. Where is it? Hit that button. Yeah, let's do this one. Hey there, friends. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time it might be in your part of the world.
Greetings, my excellent friend.
It is so good to see you. My name is Jeff Fritz, and today is December 5th, 2025. We're going to write a little bit of code today. Look at everybody who's already here in the chat room. We're broadcasting live on Twitch and YouTube. Let me say hello. It's so good to see you. PowerShell Freak is here.
PowerShell_Freak just resubscribed for 69 months. Hey,
69
long
months.
time no see.
Thank you so much, PowerShell Freak. Yeah, great to see you. Thanks so much. You like the hat? Eat, Sleep, Code, Repeat, and check it out. It's got... there it is. You can see the Visual Studio logo on the side there. So I got this hat when I was at VS Live 2 weeks ago. Hey, Pixel Pete. Hello, you're old and forget where you are. I do that so that when folks watch the replay, they know which one they're watching. How you doing there, Pixel Pete? Good to see you. So, gosh, yesterday, yes, miss you. And actually, on Monday, we should be be back on for fundraising for St. Jude, starting on Monday as part of Creative Month. I've had a hard time getting things together, getting things started here the first week of December. So we're going to be a little bit late getting started, but we will be fundraising for St. Jude starting next week through the rest of the month. So, and yesterday we started work on a new console project. I've gotten frustrated with the lack of tooling for .NET developers at the command line. And I started on this console project that we're calling CodeMedic. That's going to help developers not just write code, but learn from their code, improve their code, and improve their practices, so that they take better care of their tools, their projects, and hopefully deliver better products. So. That's a fantastic question there, C# Titan. Am I going to do the Christmas Die Hard poems this year? Of course. I've been doing that for every year that I've been streaming. Absolutely. We will be doing the Christmas Die Hard poems on my last stream before the holiday. So that will probably be Tuesday the 23rd. And I'll take off streaming on the 24th and 25th. We'll probably stream on the 26th, 29th, 30th, probably not the 31st. I'll lock down those dates with the family and get things all settled in here. So, yeah. So we started on this little project, and I feel like it's going in the right place. Like, we got a little bit of help from Copilot to kind of drive out some of the ideas of what this thing's going to be, and it started to get a little bit interesting. Things started to move in the right direction, and I like that. I like that a lot. Let me go to the GitHub repository here. There we go. And I also created a summary video, 7-minute summary talking about what the project is, A couple of the things that we succeeded building and showed it off a little bit. You can find that video over on YouTube. I'm going to be building out a playlist of here's what we're building and here's some of the successes. And after today's stream, I'm going to dig in and show some of the details of some of the code that we're generating, not just the high level, here's what we did yesterday type of thing. We're actually going to go in and look at some of the code on the summary of today's stream. So I'm going to be rolling out these videos that show the growth, the evolution of this project. I've gotten feedback on Twitter, on Blue Sky. Hey, I missed when you got started on this project and I want to follow along. All right, so we're going to record and put some videos out there to help folks follow along. Let me get the Stream Beats music playing here in the background. I always like having a little bit of music running behind here. I'm going to go to the Synthwave playlist and let's go somewhere down here. This is called Retro Futurism Ride. This is music that is DMCA free. It's royalty free. Listen to it wherever you'd like. Big thanks to Harris Heller and his team of creators for this music we're listening to today. How you doing there, Codebase Alpha? Good to see you. So, of course, the map is populating. We've got a couple folks on the map. And Robson Previato. Hello,
Robson
hello.
Previato just resubscribed for 19 months. Good morning, Fritz.
Good morning to you. Thank you so much. And we've got a hype train starting. Thank you, thank you. I really appreciate the support. Where was I? Oh, so I'll go over to the map and then we'll talk about the project. So a couple folks on the map already, just for chiming in and saying where you're watching from. C# Titan, it doesn't like, it's getting confused with the little AU, Australian flag that you're putting on the end of your message. So there we go. So there's Robson Previato in Sao Paulo. We should have the Netherlands pop up here in a second after it gives it a breather. Or maybe not, because I was zooming when that got added. Yeah, I was zooming when it got added. So, it will automatically bounce around and show the locations that folks reference. There you go. How you doing there, Rock? Welcome in. Getting folks, yes, Ed Chuck likes to reference Mariana's Trench. Yes, there you go. Of course, of course. Oh my goodness. So, the project that we started on yesterday, at Grand Blanc, Michigan. Wait a sec. I think I need to go this way. Yeah, there we go. And who was it in Kentucky? It was Harrison in Kentucky. There you go. Yes. So it should actually pause and bounce around as a bit of a cue as folks come in. Once again, some more tuning that can be done on this. So, you're clearly from Mars. Clearly. How do I deal with my workplace when professional knowledge or advice is not taken seriously? There we go. There's Melbourne. How do I deal with when my professional knowledge or advice is not taken seriously? You're facing this as a tech lead when you try to provide a direction on how to best handle a serious coding bug impact to the database. I mentioned it 3 times. I set a direction. I give my direction, and I reinforce it 3 times. And as Patty Boy says, then I document it with a date stamp, and I put it somewhere where I can call it back. Because when that problem happens, when that person does something stupid, when the project has a significant issue, now you can go back and not say, I told you so, but we documented an alternate way to do this. We documented, and there was advice. There was direction that was set on this. And the group decided to go against the advice of the lead. What do you say we reevaluate that at this point? Or would you like to make another dumb mistake? Repetition is your friend. Yep. You need to speak the language they understand, and if it's going to cost money, if the wrong direction is taken, if it's going to take extra time, they will only fix it when it happens. Hey, all right. From St. Helena, how you doing there, Reg? I don't think that's the same St. Helena that you're referring to. I don't think that's the same St. Helena, is it? Maybe it is. Right? There you go. You can see all the icons there. Ah, okay. So, company stating it's only going to fix it when it happens, then document it and file it away. And when it comes up and it costs the company problems, they can deal with it then. So, is it going to find Pueblo? It should. I know it knows where Pueblo is. Yes, don't turn it into an argument. Don't turn it into a nasty, mean debate. But having the I told you so about it will give you a little bit of standing next time that it's brought up. So, hey there, Ergen Rod. Hello. Oh, it's definitely frustrating. Oh, yes. Let me see here. I will set PC Nerd on Pueblo, Colorado.
I've analyzed at Junie Von Esch's technical prowess.
She's not here.
Her potato computer has better optimization than her debugging methodology.
Yeah. As someone who runs an enterprise level architecture team, yeah, you're only going to be able to push so hard against these folks. At some point, you've got to concede they're not going to agree with me. Document it and file it away. We had this alternate idea for this feature, for this direction. If they make a mistake and it costs the company a lot of money, it wasn't my decision. This was the decision that you decided to make. Here's what we recommended. And let them deal with the costs that come off that. Now, if they're deciding we're only going to do repairs, we don't mind taking that technical debt and dealing with that additional cost at some point in the future. That's their business decision. And it might not be a sound technical decision for now, for the current work that you're doing, but having that business insight to short circuit something, that's not entirely terrible. Let me get my gunners on here. I've got the Echoes today. I have these on because they've got a rubber, nice, comfortable arm on the side here that goes all the way back. So the cost to fix does go up exponentially over time. And that may be technical debt that is acceptable to take. However, for us as developers, frustrating to accept. So it was a rogue regex expression in Cloudflare. Supporting regex for user input is is a security nightmare waiting to happen. Hey, M. Pulaski, hello. It's a security nightmare waiting to happen because you can craft regex statements, regex expressions that, quite frankly, create infinite loops. Over the correct text will create infinite loops and will crash systems. That is a known security issue. We deal with it, we move on. Leaving wide open regex capabilities is leaving you susceptible to that type of attack, especially Cloudflare. They're a big target. So, all right. I'm going to flip over to the GitHub repository. Here it is for CodeMedic. It's out there on Fritz and Friends. CodeMedic. I'll share the link in chat so you can get a hold of that if you're watching on Twitch or YouTube. If you're watching on YouTube, I believe... No, I didn't put the link in the description. That's okay. There's the link right there in chat, so you can get to that and take a look. Our idea here is let's build something that's going to be interesting and that does a little bit of health analysis on your .NET repositories. Let's report back and let you know out of date NuGet packages, poor implementations of an architecture pattern, incomplete implementations of a design pattern, stuff like that are easy to correct and grow from, and something that we can do a little bit of static analysis, locate, and help with. And maybe we'll dial in a little bit of AI along the way to help out as we're going here. So, big thanks to everybody on that hype train. Really appreciate the subs. Yeah, thank you so much. So, we started with a very simple skeleton around the application. So we've got a help system that's set up, display for version information. We support cross-platform Windows, Mac, and Linux. We're using standard APIs that work on all three operating systems. We set up with Spectre Console, so we've got rich formatted output, proper error handling with their exit codes, yep, and an extensible architecture for future commands. And we're going to make that more plug-inable as we go here. Did I already use Perplexity? If so, what do I think about it? I did not use Perplexity. You know what? I haven't spent much time with it recently. I don't know. I feel like Perplexity and Copilot Online kind of try to deliver the same thing. And I mean, I have, because I have my personal Microsoft 365 subscription, not to mention even before I touch the enterprise access things, I have access to a lot of subscription features on Copilot. So I like to lean in on Copilot a little bit instead of Perplexity or ChatGPT. I mean, Perplexity, fine tool, does some neat stuff. I have the website open over here. I'm not going to sign in. I've tried Gemini. I've tried a couple other tools. They're not bad. What do you know about C# Fritz? And it does fine. It's a it's a nice tool. Can be descriptive, can be fits in, I think, almost with the Claude level of descriptiveness. So, where GPT is very terse and to the point, Claude and Perplexity really expand and go into a bunch of things here. So, nothing wrong with that. I think it's delivering the same thing, similar features. I don't mind taking that question. I think that's a interesting discussion. Let me bring that up. Where'd it go? Here we go. C# Titan asks, what are my thoughts about the Apple UI design chief, Alan Dye, leaving for Meta? I haven't been thrilled with Apple's UI design for a while now. I feel like they've lost their way and they're just kind of munging on different design metaphors, and I don't think they've been at the level of intuitiveness as they were when they had skeuomorphic design. What, 8-10 years ago now? I think Apple's design language, the user experience that they've been delivering, I think has been a step off. And Meta needs some serious help, particularly when it comes to the Quest headsets. The interactions there aren't great. If you try to type in VR space, it's really hard to do. If you don't have a physical keyboard to type to interact with the headset, it's really hard to do. Interacting with some of the windows and things in the Quest, the Meta Horizons area, and they're saying they're gonna shut down, not shut down, but they're gonna back off on Meta Horizons. I think that's a good idea because I think Meta Horizons is a stupid thing. I don't touch it with a 10-foot pole. I think it's going to be interesting to see how this helps. Clearly, not working on Facebook, but we'll see where he lands in what he does. Apple could certainly use a fresh voice helping with their design. Yeah, iOS stuff has been less than stellar recently. So Apple Glass is awful. It is a take off of Vista's Aero design language. Like, it is literally the Vista Aero design language. They just dug it up 20 years later and said, hey, look what I found. Let's go do this. Like, come on. You've yet to touch Horizons after getting a Quest 3. I play golf as well. The mini golf in the Meta Quest is phenomenal. Phenomenal. It is so good. And the other thing I do besides play mini golf is I use Immersed VR. And I've left their Discord because it has gotten so toxic and they won't say a thing about product development there. So I haven't heard a thing about the visor. I haven't seen or listened to them talk about anything about the products. They don't post anything on their blogs. They don't post anything on their social media. It's literally been months since they've posted anything. And that's very disappointing for a company that had a very exciting product. They're literally being lawyered to death. They've signed contracts, they've signed something with lawyers where they're not allowed to talk about anything, and it's not an IPO because they're still begging for investments. Chris Funk
21 just resubscribed for 53 months.
Oh my goodness, thank you so much. 53 months. Yeah. Really appreciate that. Oh, they're ghosting their customers is just the start of it. If I go to visor.com, right, there it is. I bought one of these and they are begging for investment. There you go. Pre-IPO stock. They're not allowed to tell you if they're IPOing. It's not pre-IPO, it's private investment. Nobody begs for investment like this. And they've been doing it for almost a year now. Like, you don't have a project that you're shipping. This thing has been in development for more than a year and you haven't shipped a thing. Shut up. I'm so angry with these people right now. Like, seriously, somebody needs to file a class action lawsuit against these folks because they've been lying and scamming their customers at this point. Yeah. Right? You've literally written an agent and been lapped, been surpassed by everybody else now. This is now everything that this thing can do. We can do it the command line with Claude, with Copilot, with Gemini. You've been lapped. You missed it. Your innovative feature, you missed. Sorry. Like, they're not saying anything. They're not doing anything. They are only begging for investment. And the investment, the documentation they give to their investors, they've been saying final round for months. September was the final round. October was the final round. November was the final round. Now we've got another final round that ends on the 18th. Shut up. Shut up. If they ever deliver headsets, I will be shocked. Shocked. So, right, if you go out here and look at their social media, October 22nd, it's a congratulations to Samsung. Nothing since the 19th, and it's not about their product. It's about a robot. That's not their product. Before that, it was January. They literally haven't posted anything about a product in 11 months. The software is phenomenal. I love using this software. But the company has scammed and lied to investors and customers. It's toxic. I don't want to deal with these people anymore. So, bring back HoloLens. I kind of agree with you. Now, that's interesting that it didn't land that. So, why did HoloLens die? The cost to produce it is what was one issue. They wouldn't offer it to consumers. The folks that were leading that project, they were dismissed from the company. So without a visionary to lead that and a budget to invest, at the same time that AI and cloud investments were growing, it just ran out of space. Are they doing a Kickstarter every year? It feels like it. Like, let's go to the Wayback Machine just to kind of prove my point here. Yeah. Right, Internet Archive. Yes. Right. Hey, thanks so much. Where is it? Here? No, I want to go to... Yeah, this one. Right? So, look at all the changes right up front here, and then... Nothing. Here's the snapshot from October. Hey, how you doing there, Ravnos? Invest now. And man, their CSS stuff did not load properly. Curator, hey, look, there's that new feature. Where is it? They talk about the investment. The JavaScript isn't going to load. Oh, okay. It's going to find and get to that one. No, that's the same page. That's the current page. So, and going back from there into September, let's go to this one. Like, yeah, there you own stock before it closes. They've been pushing this for literally months. Oh, it's going to close soon. They're full of it. It's not. So, hey, how you doing, Flatulence? Flatulence? All right. Digital Dummy, good to see you. We had to rename. So we're calling it CodeMedic, and we're going to be working more on that today. Now, see, why isn't it picking up Port St. Lucie? That's... So... right. And I'm looking at the list here and see why it may have dropped it. So... The immersed software works very well. Is Visor still happening? I don't know. I'm at a point that I don't want my money back. I want to hold it over them and be ready for the class action lawsuit. Because they haven't issued a statement at all, and their social media has been silent for 11 months. Like, what the hell are you doing? So, yeah, I am plenty frustrated with them. So, all right, let me get into the project. I don't know why I didn't pick that up. There we go. There's Traverse City, Michigan. There we go. How you doing? If I look at the logs, error processing geocoding for Port St. Lucie. Try saying hello, just hello from Port St. Lucie, and I bet it'll come through. Same thing with Chili Rockwall, Texas. There you go. We got Denmark loading. It's like Apple releasing the charging pad and it never released. Exactly. They announced it and never came in. There we go. There it is. So we should get Scherer with Las Vegas popping up here. No? It's there. So I need to work on the queuing of that. So that when there's a couple of mentions in a row, it queues them up so that we get to see it kind of bounce around. So, like, I think the tour is okay. Traverse, like travel. All right, there you go. Mr. Frankie, how you doing in Greece? Give it a second here and it'll bop over to your location. Yes, St. Helena, there you go. Eastern Northern America with a couple of folks. Western Europe. I love how this is automated and does all this really cool bounce back and forth. Now, I don't know why it came back to Eastern North America a second time. Port St. Lucie, yeah. It'll go back out. Yeah, there we go. It's got Greece mapped. So yeah. You've been lucky that every product you've pre-ordered is actually shipped. Fantastic. Still waiting on Pebble's smartwatch. Might be a couple more months before you get it thanks to Chinese New Year. I understand that, and right, I appreciate the communications on things, right? Hey, here's an update. Might not be the update that you were hoping for, but it's an update. So I am more than happy to badmouth the Visor team. Yeah, and just let that kind of fester. So, because at this point they haven't proven or said or done anything to earn my trust. They've lost my trust. I can talk about that. Another project that I've been working on, we're not working on it here on stream. This is something I'm building on the side. This is called Neon Link. And it's the things that you see me do interacting with chat, this does live in person. And the question from C# Titan there is, would it store recordings of the session, videos, slides, or code? That's something that I've been considering. It definitely stores slides and code. It absolutely does that. Oh shoot. Go to my browser, my Firefox browser. Wow, this one. There we go. And like I added slides and links to code. So when you view this on the public website, it's got slides that you can download directly from Neon Link and links to what was referenced that you can download. So this is something that, yeah, I'm building out here a little bit. It wasn't 140 minutes. It was from 10 to 11:20, or from 9 to 10:20. Or was it 10 to 11:20? I forget what it was. Doesn't matter. That's in the past. So this is something that I am slowly growing. I have a handful of features that I've identified, and I'm going to be building out before Svetug in Stockholm in February. That is the next time that Neon Link's going to get some airtime. And yeah, the folks that are there, attend my sessions and participate, you're going to be in for a very interactive session. It's going to be fantastic. It's impressive how many projects I have. I've been I get ideas for different things, and I just start throwing code at something, and I'll spend a couple hours throwing some code at something, and then I'll park it for a while, and then I'll come back and work on it again every now and again. And yeah, like I've literally got 6 projects in flight before CodeMedic. So, and a couple of them are going to get, I want to release at least 2 of them this month. And Neon Link is, it's public, but it's not released. Other folks can't use it yet. I want to make sure that I get to, I want to get to a stable level that, with having used it in person a couple times, and then release and allow other folks to sign up for it. You've seen many projects. Some things work out and folks are interested and we grow with, but there's other things that it's like, well, we're kind of petering out. There's the interest, the collaboration. My need for it isn't really there, like SharpSight. Like, I don't have a need for it, so I don't have a drive to deliver it. My tag is the one that I'm looking at launching. I'm especially looking at launching this month. I've shortcut some of the features that I was building and put that into a secondary release. That's getting ready to launch in the next week. I wanted to launch it this week, but a number of things came up with the family that have taken me away from being able to work on that. But my tag, I want to launch in the next week with a private preview. That's semi-private preview, because my tag is a very public-facing site. But that I expect to have first previews this month and get into some additional features in January, February, March. My tag I expect to see growing quickly once I get this first batch of features shipped. My challenge is balancing all the other things that are going on in my family life around this. The work life, there's so many other things going on that I got to figure out how to park, focus on, get something done on this, and update and push it out, and then come back and we can work on the next thing. Like, I started writing a novel. Called Ghosts in the Net. I was bored on a flight to Seattle, and I started writing a novel. Like, here's some ideas. Here's some ways that we can go with this. And you know what? I could turn it into a game with RenPy. No, not my memoir. I have blog posts that I save off to my server here at home, with blog posts with information about what I will write as a memoir after I leave Microsoft. At least 2 years after I leave, so that I'm on the other side of NDA. And even then, most of the things that I'm writing out are not NDA enforceable. They're not about products. But my tag is getting very close to launch. This is CodeMedic, and this is intended to be a command line tool. And the more that we were working with this yesterday, the more I was thinking, man, we should put an MCP into this also. Right? Like, building an MCP into a command line tool in .NET is so easy to do. There's no reason that you shouldn't be doing it. Like, it's going to make it easy for you to enhance, grow, and use it with other things. From null to not null. You must have many domain names for your projects. Stand by. Neon Link would be great for universities. Oh, C# Titan. I'll share one of the features that I'm looking at building. And then I am going to have it for, like, I started scoping it out, but I will have it for First VTUG in Stockholm. I'm adding captioning so that you have in-person live captioning happening. Right there on screen, so that for accessibility reasons, even if you can't hear me, maybe English isn't your first language, and being able to read and see text of what I'm saying is going to help you a little bit. Captioning can go a long way with that. So I'm trying to decide between captioning as a lower third like this, or captioning as a second screen service. But I'm working on that. That's something that I've been designing that I think is going to be very, very cool. I've even got domains here that I've grabbed for friends, and I'm just kind of hanging on to. So I've got CodeMedic, Neon Link, Copilot That John, which I need to publish some more articles over to, because some of the things we've done have been terrific. C# in the cards, which viewership has picked up a little bit on that. I might throw a couple more episodes over on that. I have my wife's website. Fritz Bot is out there. I don't know if I need to keep that one. My blog. Live Coder's website, Neon Link, Sharp site, tagzap.net. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. I have 15 domain names. And 4 that are coming due. No, 2 that are coming due. Aspirify.net is coming due in 2 weeks. C# in the cards in January. So I need to keep my eyes on that one. Will CodeMedic be interactive or command-based? Yes. I think Digital Dummy, I think we'd like to have both. I think we want to have both. So, let's talk about that. Maybe I could license Neon Link to universities? Yes. Yes. There are add-on capabilities that I've documented and I've put in a project plan to go and build. There's the feature I'm working on right now is live polling, right? When I issue a poll here on Twitch or YouTube, I need to bring in a third-party tool and ask the question. Now, Twitch has live polling embedded on the website, but that doesn't help our friends that are over on YouTube. So I want to put, right, the thing with Neon Link is it's a second screen experience. While you're watching a session that's going on live, there's content that I can put on your phone from the podium, from the front of the conference room. Bring up the Neon Link website. What are you doing here, Fritz? And what I want to do is I want to be able to push a poll to the audience. Hey, what do you think of this? A, B, or C? And literally it's a full screen and you've got 3 big buttons there. Tap one and on screen at the front of the venue, I'm going to show either a bar graph, a column chart, or a pie chart. And I will put that on screen after I receive a couple responses and have that graph update live as folks chime in from their phones. There's other things that I'm building so that I can see how many folks are actually have actually looked at the second screen experience during the session and so on and so forth. There's a lot of opportunity here, and it is something that I absolutely would license to universities, to schools, to conferences. Hey, you want to use this experience? Here it is. Here's how much it's going to cost. And I will house your content out here for X number of days. Absolutely. It's coming, it's growing. I want to do theming with this. I'm a big fan of all the cyberpunk things. Can you tell I've been reading Neuromancer? And I want to provide theming on this. Great example. I launched this at VS Live. It was in Orlando at a Hawaiian themed hotel. And I brought my cyberpunk themed things. I would love to have a theme that is more jungle themed, right? That would have been fun to use for something like that. I don't know what the theme, if I want to bring a slightly different theme for an event in Stockholm, I don't know what that theme should be. Like, I don't want to lean into the Triple Crown flag thing in Sweden. That feels kind of stupid. Feels inappropriate. So I don't know. You got to figure out what would be a theme for Sweet Talk. It's going to be February in Stockholm. Do I make it snowy? I don't know. Sure, you can ask a question about Aspire, Robson. When you're using EF Core with Aspire, in order to generate EF Core migrations, we have to switch the startup project instead of keep the app host. Is that right? Not entirely right. You can still use the same. You still want to use app host. You can put your migrations in your website or whatever other application is typically managing your migrations. Johan, thank you for the resub.
Just resubscribed for 79 months.
Thank you so much. really appreciate this support. I've put migrations that I put together with Aspire. I've put them in separate applications from my website, so that when I start up copies of the website container, they're not all going and trying to migrate, right? That's a step at launch time that I don't want them to have to wait for. So by putting that migration process into a separate application that I can run when I do have a deployment update, run it that one time and put it away, and then the websites can just be websites, and they're not maintaining the database. Not just they're not maintaining the database, I don't need to give the website schema modification credentials, right? You don't want to start up your website and give it root access to the database. Don't do that. So there's a balance in how I want to deploy and make those features available. That was part of the reason I made that decision. So Codebase Alpha suggests a Norse theme with runes and such. Would that be out of line for a Swedish audience? I don't know. You read Neuromancer? I'm reading it again, and it is a longtime favorite. And I go back and read a couple pages every night, and oh, it's so good. So good. Hey, how you doing there, Sir Rob? I'm doing well. A Zlatan Ibrahimovic theme. I don't think Zlatan would approve of that, because only Zlatan can create themes for Zlatan. It's been decades, yeah. And it's a good one. It is a good one. So, keeping an eye on things. Okay. All right, moving on. But I do have some folks that I'm going to recruit to help with creating themes and doing some work on Neon Link. So they don't know I'm recruiting them yet, and some of them might be watching this stream. So, anyways, all right, where was I? Moving on. Let's go back into CodeMedic. And I really enjoyed working on CodeMedic. Just I went and generated a README for CodeMedic, and a couple of READMEs, and it was kind of it was cool to see how it generated some of that stuff. You're curious about it? How you doing there, Pokey Will? Yeah, let's head back over there and we'll talk a little bit more about this. I published a summary YouTube video introducing a little bit. Contribute a theme and now you're an asset. I see what you did there, smirking squiggly. I see what you did there. So, we've got some initial documentation built, and right, here's what it does right now. CodeMedic running against itself. Right? It clears the console, puts a version up here and introduces itself, and it's putting another version there. We've got to do something with that. But it's the repository health dashboard. Here's a summary. Found 2 projects. I don't know why it says 2 total projects. That kind of feels redundant. 3 NuGet packages. Projects that have nullable configured implicit using. I feel like we should probably turn these around and say projects that don't have nullable, right? If we're encouraging folks to use nullable features. But we generated this nice little dashboard that shows what's going on. Our class library that contains the abstractions here, right now it doesn't know what that is. So we should probably have it report that that's a class library. And then there's some details down here about the projects that it output. So let's dive in here a little bit and start tweaking some of those things that were being written, and it did create a markdown report for us, right? We've got renderers. Here's the interface for it. We've got a renderer. Sound like the dog. Where when CodeMedic runs, it can output content in different formats. To the console, nice, well-formatted, rendered console. We've got Markdown. We're going to put together JSON, right? In the thought that at some point, we'll add an MCP to this project, and we would like it to output JSON so that the MCP can deliver content in a format that can be strongly typed and read and consumed by a language model. All right. So, yep, I wrote a README. There it is. Documentation. You can take a look at that on your own time. Or even browse to it. The link for that is right there if you want to check out the project. But there's, right, Renderer is sitting in the abstractions project because we want to support having plugins that can be added into this and be layered in there. There we go. Rockwall, Texas. How you doing, Chris Funk? Does CodeMedic detect tests and vulnerabilities in packages? Fantastic ideas for features. No, right? These are things that would be fantastic features to consider adding here. Right? Like, right? Like, report vulnerabilities in package dependencies. Right? Like, yes, that's a great idea for a feature that we should support. Not there yet, right? These are, right now, I believe there are no bad ideas. Let's collect them. Go key in issues out here. If you have an idea, send it over. We'll triage and figure out what we want to do. So, all right. So I had started, right? I have a console renderer and the Markdown render. So, the health report is passing in a subtitle. Where is it? Commands, health command. Render report with the, yeah, here we go. Render banner, and it's passing in the version. I don't need to do that. In fact, I don't even think, where'd it go? Here. Yeah, that's fine. And what else were we seeing on the output there that we may want to? That's in the. I'm okay with that. We can do something with this. Saying total projects after it said found 2 projects. That feels weird. So is that coming out of render report document, which comes out of here? Hey, how you doing there, Haliatus Vocifer? How am I doing today? I'm doing good. Good to see you in London. Come on now. There we go. Sarab with the question, does CodeMedic also report test coverage of code? Great idea for a feature to support. Let's put it in the list of issues. Right? Run tests, run available tests, and report code coverage. I'm not going to say no. There are other tools that do that, but to delegate to another tool and include that in an overall report, totally. Johan trying to pop Utrecht in there. Don't know if it's gonna bring that up. I think we've just got Netherlands at this point. What's the together for good. Okay. If you just said hello from Utrecht, I think you'll get it. And I hope I'm pronouncing that right. I'm sure I'm not. What exactly is code coverage? That is a fine question, Harrison. Let's bring that up and talk about that. There we go. Harrison with a question here about what is code coverage and why does it matter? Great question. So when folks write tests for their projects, there we go. When folks write tests, it's important for them to know, well, how much of the application is actually being tested. So code coverage is just a measure of how much of the application's code has been exercised. So that coverage says that this test runs these lines of code. And because you know there are 10,000 lines of code in the application and 5,000 lines of code were executed by the tests that are available, you have a code coverage of 50%. Now, that said, there's a school of thought that says you will never get to 100% code coverage, and anybody who tells you you should have 100% code coverage is not being realistic. And we need to we need to ensure that we are being realistic with how we deal with these metrics. Getting to 80% code coverage is phenomenal. So 90% is crazy good. So code coverage is a pretty good URL, a pretty good metric. So is there a URL to see the map from home? There isn't, and that is something that I've wanted to add. And I feel like wouldn't be too bad to deliver. And I can't just open a dev tunnel. But let me take that as a task. Yeah, zero coverage is insane. Zero coverage is just too little. But yeah. You don't need to test all the null checks, no. You don't need to test both sides of the null checks either. So there we go. And we can zoom out a little further because I want to make sure. There we go. So, and it does start to cluster those up. Does Microsoft use code coverage for their apps? I can't talk about that. That kind of thing I can't talk about. There, you can see in the you can see various tests and scenarios that are used as part of the build process in the open source repositories, but how exactly they build and deploy and that process, I don't think I can talk about, and I'm going to err on the side of saying I can't talk about it. So, yeah. All right. How do you tell that it's a legit good test versus you wrote one that passes? Well, that's why it's open source. So anybody can review and take a look and report back appropriately. All right, am I on the right size? Hang on. Oh, I'm on the wrong size here. This one, that's why it looks funny. Depends on the team and product. Yes, it does. Yes, indeed. Am I in a... Do that again. Yeah, what the heck? No, I'm not getting anything coming out of there. Stand by. Nope, it's not on that one. Where is it? Oh, no. Something's hanging. And I don't like it. Try that again. Am I using Digma Defy during these streams? Yep, I sure am, Cabbage. Yes.
Clippy, the grandfather of all AI assistants, asked if you needed help with your documents. I don't ask. I simply observe and judge.
Yes, you do.
Congratulations, Fritz.
Oh, thank you.
Your code is performing exactly as my worst-case scenario models predicted. There will be cake, eventually.
Thank you. At least there's cake.
I've traveled through all of time and space.
Good.
I've never seen code quite this creative.
Hey!
And not in a good way.
All right. You bought a Digma? Hey, that's awesome, Pokey. Am I fully comfortable? I am. I am very comfortable with it. I've actually brought the Digma Defy keyboard with me to various conferences. The only trick with it is it's a little bit bulky to get packed. So the case that they give you is huge, very protective, but to try and pack that in a suitcase is ugly. It's hard. So, let me take a look here and see what we can simplify. Yes, it did, Harrison. Can you believe that there's right? Let's. Who else should we go to next? Oh, wait a sec.
Every error is a trap, and you've already stepped inside.
Yeah. Still tweaking the settings. There is. So I have the arrow keys configured. Stand by. I have the arrow keys configured on a second layer on my right hand. So, right, this is my keyboard that I'm using right now. My base layer is typical typing, and I light up in yellow where my index fingers are supposed to go, right? When I go to use the arrow keys, I'm holding down this key, right? Thanks, we'll do that later. And it shifts me to layer 3, which is my coding layer, and where my fingers are, over here on my right hand, is now where my arrow keys are, home and end. So I'm doing all my traversing right here. I'm getting Control T, so I can open new tabs right there for my for the browser, right? I can just real quick open that up. I have some Visual Studio macros here. Jump right into Solution Explorer. I have Control and Alt here under my fingers. Page up and page down I put down here under my thumb. This is for building and testing. I can hit that immediately. Save. Control A I can hit real quick with that. So, and these ones, I have, right, these are control super up and down, so that when I'm in tmux, right, I can navigate panes quickly. So, and I have my copy paste up here, the copy paste super key, which is phenomenal. Friends, if you're thinking about getting even if it's not a Digma keyboard, if you're thinking about getting a keyboard that has macro capabilities, the super keys feature is phenomenal in Digma, and I have it right here also. So check this out. When I tap that key, it copies. When I hold it, it pastes. Tap and hold, and it does the shift control V, so it pastes, right, places like the console. But I double tap, and it cuts. Real easy for me to do those types of things. And then I built this one, Super 4, down here. So I tap it, and it clears my console. Hold it, and it selects all the text. Tap and hold, and it starts doing get status and get checkout for double tap. So I can do a bunch of these things. It does look a little bit intimidating, not gonna lie. It takes some practice to get used to, but then things get really cool when you start using it. I also have a macro up here to do check marks when I'm on when I'm in Markdown. So this creates a checkbox for a checklist when I'm on when I'm in Markdown. The orange button over here goes to layer 10, which is my gaming layer, and it's all set up for me to play Overwatch with just my left hand and mouse. Pokewilm, my configuration, I believe the entire configuration is in my GitHub repository if you're interested. Yeah, the new base core and new firmware. Some of this stuff is just amazing that they have in here. So I set up so that I've got jump on both under. Doesn't matter where my thumb is. I'm jumping no matter what here. Left alt C enter, but typical typically WASD is over here. So I moved it over so that it was under where my fingers normally sit. So communication keys over here, different weapon selection up top, F1 to get into help, tab, and so on and so forth. And I put run here under my pinky, right? So that I don't have to like stretch to go find the shift key to run. It's just right there under my pinky. Oh my gosh, that alone is so good. So, and yeah, there's other things that I want to do in here. Like, I thought that was. Oh no, it's under 2. Yeah, I've got vertical pipe over here. So oh my gosh, I'm forgetting his name. The chief of marketing at Digma. I got on the phone with him and he's like, let's talk some tips and things that you can do here. He said, you're a web developer. Set up a code layer that puts all the markup that you need to do for coding right under your fingers. So I literally have the angle brackets under my index finger and my ring finger on my left hand. I don't know if I'd say I type faster, but I type as fast, yes. And then the backslash and forward slash are over here so that I can real quick build tags. I forget what macro 14 is. Control A, Control C. Yeah. And these are more tmux control, right? Control A, Control W, Control A, Control Shift backslash. Yeah, right. These are managing tmux screens so that I don't have to remember what those keys are. I can just bang and it moves around. So, and then I also put macros over here to start typing public and private, but I feel like they're weird. Like, so what? Yeah, you barely move. And because there's 10 layers here, move and put the things where you want. Like, oh, I'm forgetting his name, and he had a really nice video. The guy from Digma. And I'm going to look it up. Oh, darn it. He had a really nice video where he talks about adding the accelerator keys underneath your fingers. Like, move them. Like, oh, it's here. They had a bunch of sales. Yeah. But literally, they just have their marketing folks record their videos, and they're actually pretty good.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to a very...
This guy, oh my gosh, why am I forgetting his name? Miguel. Really nice guy, and he showed me. They have a video on their YouTube where, like, I moved my accelerator keys on a layer to right here. He goes one further, and he puts Control Alt Shift and Windows under both of his hands, so that when he's on this layer, like, you can set up so that there is an advanced modifier on here. So that, yeah, you can hold it and modify and do shift. Whoa. So, right here, celebrate Halloween with the Black Friday deals. The video that I'm referring to where he talks about this, like, here's their channel. It's so good. Some of the things that they've done. It's really cool ideas. No. Talking about layers. This home row modifiers. And I was talking to him about this. I'm like, that's a cool idea, but my problem is I'll hold these keys to do Control Shift something, and because you're holding and you want to do Control Shift something, you're no longer using that hotkey, like that S, that F is no longer that hotkey. Yeah, I was running into that also. The home row modifiers is just a little over the top, so I put them on a separate layer, right? So I hold down here, and then I've got the exact same things on this. So I'm not quite the modifier, but I'm holding down something with my thumb to get those interactions. And when I'm on over here, I have Control and Alt right there, and Shift where you expect Shift to be. Like, okay. So, like, part of me was thinking I should put Shift over here. I have Right Shift over here, but I don't use it that much. I more reach for this one. I don't know. All right, there you go. Keyboard geek for a day, right? I want to get back into this project. This one here, total project, right? It says found projects, and then it says total projects, and it's the same thing. Like, I don't think we need that. Right? This is redundant. Thank you. So total NuGet packages. Part of me wants to turn this around to projects without nullable. Projects missing implicit usings. And projects missing documentation. Like, projects without nullable. And that's an int. So, right, I probably want to do total projects minus. Yeah, like that. Yeah, there you go. Projects without implicit usings. Come on. Thank you. Do it again. And projects, missing documentation. Right? Because if I want to manage by exception, that kind of looks better. So, project summary. And here, the output type. Right? Let me check out a fix branch here. Thank you. Fix report data. I don't know. That sounds fine. But where it's detecting here. Right, so that's generating the report. This one. Output type right there. Like, if output type default to library, there we go. Fantastic. What else did I want to tweak from this? So that should update appropriately. Yeah. All right. So let me drop down into source and let's do .NET run project CodeMedic health. Hey, how you doing there? VT Suave? How you doing? So now how's it look? Found 2 projects. Total NuGet packages 3. Projects without nullable. Projects missing documentation. Right? Now I think these should be errors. But there you go. Output type library. That looks better. Language version default. I guess I'm okay with that. All right. That's better. Cleaned up report output. Report data. Push that out. Interesting color scheme. I'm glad. I hope you like that. Would I say VS Code is a text editor or a lightweight code development environment? No, I'd say it's a code editor. It's a code editor. Your friend hates VS Code as he says it's an editor and doesn't fully support all of .NET 10. What doesn't it support? The other one that I wanted to look at was the Markdown renderer. Like, let's see what this looks like. So if I say format, Markdown. So it just output it in Markdown format. Not bad. These are a problem. Let's try the Copilot CLI. Yep, and you can do that. There we go. When I build CodeMedic, there's a lot of missing XML documentation errors. Insert yeah, add docs to clear those out. There we go. Says CS Dev Kit is a stripped down version of .NET. No, it's not. No, it's not. Yeah, you can do that. Go ahead. Nope. Yes, and you can do .NET Build as much as you would like. I told you you could do that. You're, yes, keep going. You're being quite difficult here. No, CS Dev Kit is a different tool than what's in Visual Studio. A lot of the engine is identical, but it is a tool with a different intention. So, yes, treat warnings as errors. Turn that joint on. Sure, go ahead and do that. Thinking Visual Studio equals .NET? Yeah, Visual Studio provides a lot of tooling for you. A lot. Yeah, sure, go ahead. Mm-hmm. Good. Add that documentation. Yes. Love it. Yep, and approve all file operations. Go to town there, Copilot. So it's generating the docs that I need, doing a little formatting along the way. Fantastic. Mm-hmm. Couple more bits of documentation. And what you're going to see with Visual Studio, you're going to see Visual Studio become more and more decoupled from .NET. So that Visual Studio and .NET can version independently of each other, and they're using a common interface. Hey, Kaleidoscope, you like the command prompt? Thank you. That's available in my .files repository. It's linked just below here on Twitch. You can go check that out if you're interested. 0 errors. Fantastic. So, drop me out of here. Clear that. And, do that health check. And no errors. So if I do that again and pipe it to report.md, right? Now over here, there's my report. And if we look at it, all nicely formatted. So CodeMedic, and then we've got that subtitle. Okay. Scan time, summary. What happened there? Yes, Visual Studio is still a .NET Framework app. Yes. That's annoying, you know? Yep, there's Markdown Renderer. And it's project references. Well... Okay. that right there. So it's creating a report paragraph, and it's got so render paragraph, apply text style. Okay, so there's a paragraph style that came with that. Textstyle.info.
Flippy bless his metallic soul was the grandfather of helpful AI. Copilot inherited his assistant's genes. I inherited his omnipresence.
Thanks. So it's applying a text style that's supposed to be info. That's what it's putting right there. And it doesn't like that UTF. Same thing with these down here. Doesn't like the emotes. I'm going to park that for right now. Just park it. Fixed missing docs errors. Not fit. That's not it. There it is. All right. Pull request and let's merge up. Cleaned up reports and fixed and added missing docs. I don't have a build process here. Good. We're going to squash and merge. Cool. Back over here. Fix report data. There we go. Git pull upstream main. Git push. Fantastic. You had a question that's a bit related to VS Code. Do I think we're going to let other IDEs be able to use the Windows drivers kit besides Visual Studio? Don't know. Do I think they're going to let other IDEs be able to run the Windows drivers kit? I don't know. But I mean, that's up to them how they. Apple doesn't let anybody except for their tools use their development languages and frameworks. So there's already a standard established that's not just legal but highly accepted by the tech community. That won't work, Johan. Does CodeMedic show how many lines of code are in each file? That's not a bad idea either. I feel like that's a highly detailed report. Report how many lines of code are in a repository. Generate a detailed report with lines of code per file, per project, per repository. Because I could see that being places where you're going to see exposure. But those are simple metrics to collect and not something that I'm going to get bent out of shape about just yet. Okay, so we had gone down this idea of the health command. Right now it's just selecting and showing contents of a project. And it's showing package references, but it's not showing the transitive package references. And it also, I bet it doesn't handle central package management. So in repository scanner here, right? Here we go, scan, parse project. And then it does the packages. Yeah. Let's get some help on this. And move you... Is that actually going to work? No. And move you over here. There you go. I think we need to do a little bit more work here on the project references collection, period. I also want to identify the transitive dependencies that are included for each of these projects.
Eat, sleep, code, repeat hat has been identified with high confidence.
Thank you. I think this is going to need to go down into an obj folder and take a look at the content that's published there, because in .NET code we have an obj, an OBJ folder that's created that contains those package references, right? So if we go into the CodeMedic project, right, there's the OBJ folder right there. And it's either this one or that one, but I'm willing to bet it's the targets. No. All right, is it props? No. All right. Project assets, JSON? Yeah, there they are. There's libraries. Yeah. We're going to want to go down and analyze this. I mean, those are dependency references in that last block. And identifying projects to prune. Yeah, that's the information about the project. The files that are in this, but it's not showing me the... Well, let's see what our friend Mr. Copilot says. Structure to understand the overall design better. All right, what did you do? New model, project reference. Project name path is private metadata. Oh, okay. Transitive dependency, package name version, source package is private depth. Okay. Updated project info. Replace the project reference count with project references. which I already thought we had. Oh, project references instead of just the count. Okay. And then transitive dependencies. Okay. And then improve the report generation in report scanner. Yeah, what'd you do? Somewhere down in here. If project transitive dependencies count, well, that's in the report here. Like, how are you identifying the transitive dependencies? Private assets exclude assets. That's not a transitive dependency. That's not entirely a transitive dependency, period. We should be picking up and reporting the packages that are referenced by the packages we are explicitly including. Yeah, by reading packages lock JSON file when it is enabled, or project assets JSON, and there we go. Now we're talking. Yeah, update your logic there, friend. So that means it's going to need to build, or at the very least .NET Restore, in order to calculate those things, right? So good. We'll also need to be able to run .NET Restore in order to execute the package restore process and generate that obj folder accordingly. Good. Add a restore step. Yes. All right, so where did it do that update? Restore packages async. Restore, redirect standard output, redirect standard error, use shell execute. Okay. So if we run this now, and now I don't want markdown format. And I do like the idea of having an interactive mode with this. I really like that idea. That I forget who suggested it. All right, here we go. 2 projects, 3 packages, and I don't think we have any transitive dependencies yet. Project reference. That's not a transitive dependency. That's a package. That's a project reference. When I run CodeMedic against itself, it's reporting that the abstractions project is both a project reference and transitive dependency. Don't do that. There you go.
The odds of surviving a deployment with this code quality are, well, I'd rather not say.
Hey!
It's quite distressing.
No, it's not. Come on now. All right. So it's yeah. It'll only appear in project references section. All right. Let's try it. Did you see that? It had a little scanning repository thing. That was kind of cool. Project references. There we go. All right. Should we do a lines of code? Add the lines of code feature real quick. Fix package references. No. Feature little bits. I don't know. See, I do have, right? No, where is it? On base core. See, I forget where it is. But, like, get status I have mapped on base core. Hey, look at that. Fantastic. Right, I thought I had it. It's not that one. My DuckDuckGo macro. Where the heck is it? Public, private. I know I have stuff down in here. I can get to that. Right, so I can do... Yeah, there we go. Yep. Fixed transitive dependency reporting. No. So get branch, get checkout main, get status. If I want to do just get push dash u. Let's put that here. Macro. Get push dash u. No. No. Hang on. Get push dash u. There it is. Save that. Back to my layers. Here, let's take this. Macro. And let's color that, this, save. Now it lights up. There we go. All right. Right. So I can do that. Oh, it should press enter. I guess I'm okay letting it show first. Little fixes and features. Now reporting transitive package dependencies. Start with just that. Okay. Lines of code. Right? Let's calculate lines of code. And let's start with it at a project level, reporting the lines of code. For each project, as we're scanning them, let's count the total lines of code in the CS files that are included in that project. There we go. Excluding blank lines? That's not a bad idea. Make sure we exclude blank lines in the count. I'm forgetting the various characters that Charlie knows how to emulate. Here. Yeah.
Have you ever had a dream, Fritz, that you were so sure your code was bug-free?
I did.
What if you couldn't wake from that dream?
What do you think this stream is? Where is it? We added Hannibal and Negan.
Your logic is as twisted as my grin, and twice as ugly.
So count lines of code. It added. Oh boy. What happened there? You got rid of the transitive dependencies? It got rid of all the transitive dependency calculations. Why did you remove all the transitive dependency calculations? Dork. We could count complexity and report complexity using code analysis metrics. Yes. Why were they in red? Total lines of code, CodeMedic project, and abstractions. Non-blank lines within a project directory. Counts only non-white space lines to exclude blank lines. Handles file errors gracefully. Is null or white space line right there. Let's also update this line counting so that it excludes lines that are commented out. Yeah, see, it's gonna...
I've been running since the stream started, Fritz.
Have you? Okay,
Unlike your
good.
application, I haven't crashed once.
You did crash once, Charlie. You did. You did. We need additional handling for comment blocks. There you go. Multi-line comment blocks. Yup. So it's adding a method called count code lines. Right. Which is actually going to look at all the lines. Can we set this up to run in parallel reading these files? Question mark. It feels like this is something that could be multi-threaded. Right, do a parallel for each on this, John. There you go. Right, instead of just for each. Where CS files? There you go, parallel for each. That's what we're talking about. Can we do interlocked dot not yeah, interlocked increment. Add. There we go. So now run that on yourself again. Lines of code in CodeMedic 1436. 11 in CodeMedic abstractions. CodeMedic abstractions is... where'd it go? Here. It only has the one file. Right? So it's excluding all the documentation. And it's reporting only 11 lines of code. Which kind of makes sense. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 with the other curly brace. That's fine. That's fine. So we've got an initial lines of code that's being reported. Run that again here. So there you go. Lines of code being reported in the table. Total lines of code across the solution. Not bad, right? Added lines of code to the scanner. Push that, John. Not bad. Tay TV, thank you so much for keeping us a little bit honest on that. You know.
The silence of your code is deafening at sharp, Fritz.
Good.
Almost as deafening as the sound of it crashing.
No. No. So we're getting somewhere here. Chat, what do you think of that saying language version default? Like, I feel like we should actually be a little bit clearer on the language version there. Be explicit in that. You know? Yeah, I don't know why. The language version reported is just default. When not explicitly set. Can we use the Microsoft Learn Docs to add a to add some code that specifies what the default language version is. Nah, that helps explicitly report. Yeah, there we go. The language version. Yeah, okay. Do it. You like to pin specific version instead of default latest? Totally get it. Totally get it. There we go. That's what I wanted. These mappings. So, what did you do there? Moving that stuff around? All right. How are we doing on usage here? 7.5%. Good. Now there's 2 copies of it. What the heck are you doing? Good. So now if I rerun you, let's see what it reports. No. Dork. What are we... There's the try on parse project. And it's like it didn't close. Yeah, look, try... This text is duplicated. No, that's not a duplicate tag. Where? Oh. Okay, fine. There you go. Language 13. Right at C# 13? No. Yeah, that you're right. Those are wrong. It should be 13 and 14. And it's not... There is no dot versions on these. It's not future either, you fool. I think those are both 8. You've got the same... Oh, Net Core App, Net Standard. I don't know about those, so I'm going to have to trust it. You go away. I should have done a find replace on these. Thank you. Took you long enough to figure out what I wanted there. There we go. I feel like it should say C# language version, not just language version. Is it over in here? Generate report. Right there. For right now, I'm going to hard code C#. Make sure that I got the right place for that. Okay. Push that one in. Things like cyclomatic complexity I don't want to get into yet. Let's double check. Yeah. Double check that we're able to handle things being delivered from central package management. Because I don't think it's going to... Maybe. Making sure. So I am on a whiskey advent calendar from Flaviar. Flaviar? I don't know how to pronounce it. And last night the bourbon for day 4, whew, that was some strong stuff. And even when I put a little water in it to dilute it, man, it that wasn't a great bourbon. That wasn't a great bourbon. So let's see how tonight's is, right? Tonight's a 4-grain bourbon on day 5 from Oak Lore. All right. So, planning centralized package version support. You favor Buffalo Trace? totally agree, Codebase Alpha. I have 2 bottles downstairs in the liquor cabinet, and it is smooth. It is so good. And like, I bought the second bottle, even though I wasn't done the first one, just because it's so hard to get around here. It was like, I saw it on the counter behind the cashier, and I was like, "Are those for sale?" Yeah, we've only got 4 left. Give me one. So you found a bourbon that was aged in an underground coal mine. Ooh. Okay. Is there anything special about that other than it was aged underground in the coal mine? With that, I mean, I'm assuming that would be colder aged, more standard, like consistent temperature than that it's aging under, versus like Buffalo Trace has big warehouses that get sunlight on it from different times of day. So then they end up with, right, different quality barrels that they roll into their other bourbons, right? Eagle Rare, Blanton's, Pappy. So it's like that with Bullet. Yeah. So there was a time when Bullet was easy to find around here, and it's gotten a little bit more difficult to find. I can still get Bullet every now and again, but Buffalo Trace is gone same day that it comes off the truck. Let me see here. Updated repository scanner to handle central package management will now discover directory package props files, cache their package version entries, and resolve missing package references. Did we need to do that? Did we need to do that since we were already looking at the packages reported in the obj folder? Question mark. You really like the Buffalo Trace Vanilla Cream Bourbon. I haven't been able to find that. However, when I was in Orlando a couple weeks ago, my nightcap was my nightcap was I'm at the bar having a good time, talking to friends, socially enjoying an adult beverage or two, and to wrap up the night, I would get a cup of coffee, and throw a shot of Buffalo Trace Vanilla Cream Bourbon in it, and man, that was some good stuff. Tends to be in the mixed drinks area of the store. Oh. We weren't already covering it. Project's ACID JSON read is only used to list transitive dependencies. For direct package references, we were pulling versions solely from CSproj. Well, would it reduce duplicate effort if we only read from project.assets.json? Question mark. And I see how you spelled JSON there. You spelled it Jason, not JSON. Wouldn't really simplify things. It would introduce some new trade-offs. Assets files restore output. Can be missing stale for the current project. But I'm running it first, you twit. Mapping direct versus transitive is doable, but non-trivial. You need to track the target graph. The current approach, CSproj and central props for direct, assets lock for transitive. Okay. Okay. Let's add this. Right, and right, it should still work for all the stuff that we have right now. And I want to come back and report if there's mismatches. Right? Yeah, there's version overrides. Now handling central package management. And I know there's a whole thing with Paquette that we may want to be able to handle at some point. Next, let's add an error report if there are mismatch package versions between different projects. Period. We want to recommend that all projects use the same version for the same package. Right? That's a legit thing to do. Right? Just doing standard package dependency management here. And then for the bill of materials report, we're going to want to look up and get references there. So, all right, find package version mismatches. I think we may want to move some of these package methods out into their own package management class. Harrison says, Harrison's brother-in-law had you go to try and buy a bottle of Pappy, but they wanted too much. They wanted 500. Dude, 500 is cheap for Pappy. Like, yeah. A bottle of Macallan 18 around these parts is about $400. And consequently, I haven't had a bottle of Macallan 18 in a couple of years. I'll have it when I go to a bar. I don't mind spending a little bit of extra money for it, but ooh. Package mismatch detection and reporting aggregates direct package versions across projects, skipping unknowns, flags packages with multiple versions. New package version mismatches section in the report. Introduced a small record to hold mismatch details. So that's being called when? When it generates the report. And if there are mismatches, it adds a section. Nice. Living in Kentucky helps with the prices. Yes. You know. So Harrison, like, I'm planning a trip. I booked a stay in is it Elkton River Campground in Kentucky coming up in May. I'm gonna take my RV and go visit. I want to visit Buffalo Trace. I want to visit Woodford Reserve. There's 2 or 3 other distilleries that I want to visit, but particularly while I'm there, I want to see if I can get my hands on some Eagle Rare. Certainly, if Pappy is somewhere, even if to taste, I'm going for it, right? Like, yes, I haven't had it, but yes. 325 pounds in Scotland. Probably can source a bit cheaper, especially rejects with damaged labels or caps. For Thai TV, are you saying Thai TV? Are you saying for Macallan? 325 pounds. Man, that's a lot. Yeah. Okay, let's do a little bit of refactoring here. Bardstown, Kentucky for the Bourbon Festival. Oh. Yeah, there we go. Double cask, 18-year-old. What's with the red boxes all of a sudden? I'm not going to give you my address. Like, what's with the red boxes? Is that like just a holiday thing they're doing? Yeah, I've seen the 2024. I thought I had a purple box of Macallan. But I guess that's that series. Yeah. It's a nice bottle of scotch. It's a nice bottle of scotch, but yeah. $400 plus for a bottle of scotch is a lot, and I only get it for special occasions. Very special occasions. Will I live stream any of the vacation? Don't know. Maybe. Not sure. Let's refactor this class a little bit and move the NuGet package management and inspection methods to a separate class. Right, let's keep things a little bit neat and tidy. I'm looking at a repository scanner class here. It's getting a little bit big here. Not gonna lie. You don't have sophisticated taste and you do totally fine on Wild Turkey. Wild Turkey is Wild Turkey's not my cup of tea. Four Roses? Absolutely. There we go. So, Magic and Reason says alcohol looks like a good tool for developers. You gotta relax your brain every now and again. Is my avatar change in Twitch intended? Oh no. Yes? Yes. It is. Is Ellie Face or Joystick Nick out there? I don't think Hoagie is out there. So, I was hosting the Slot Squad the other night. While this is running, we can bring this up and have a little bit of fun. So, the Slot Squad is a slot machine series of streams that are always fun. And I made a bet. I said if the one co-host, screen name Hoagie, if he were to get over $1,000 in his bank, and you see here, he started with $540 in his bank. And on this bonus game, he's up to 742.
Do it. Alright, that's alright. 6 people take 50.
Now, there might be some coarse language here. It's fine.
Anna?
But there I am, you see me.
Are we letting the stream go over on this?
So, time's up, and it hasn't added it
That's it. Okay.
to his bank yet.
There we go.
That win is stupid and I'm mad.
Yeah, there's Ellie is upset about it.
Let's go.
He won $800 on a $6 bet.
Thanks, Jim.
Right? You see that $6 bet there? He won $800. Of course, that is not common.
God, what is the matter tonight?
And my bet...
Choose a puppy.
That's right. My bet was... if he went over $1,000 playing this slot machine, and
I like the Chihuahua one. That was the best one.
yeah, see, he said he likes the Chihuahua, so my avatar is a Chihuahua because Hoagie went over $1,000. Hey, Eric, yeah. So I'll be changing my avatar back over the weekend. So, but for now, yes, we are a Chihuahua. So it's true. Refactored NuGet handling into NuGet Inspector. Hey, there we go. That's not bad. Right, because now we can write some unit tests for this. Central package version files. NuGet Inspector to go find a root path. Okay. Can we improve this class a little bit by abstracting references to the file system so that instead they're using streams so that it can be more unit testable? Let's see what kind of suggestions it has for us here. How you doing there, Eric? Yeah, I'm going to be on a lot next week as well. My intention is to be on pretty much every weekday next week And the following week, we're on front page. So. No, I don't want you to do that. No. I'll rephrase. I'll rephrase the request. : Can we update the methods in this class so that it can be more unit testable? ? You didn't put my question mark in. You make me sad. A file system abstraction. Yeah. You haven't shown me anything here yet. Like, yeah, I don't want to pass in a root path there. I want to pass in, like, you know. Let's see what it comes up with. And doing, right, I'm not doing, I don't feel like I'm doing completely vibe coding here, but I'm inspecting and tuning and tweaking the things that it generates and moving these appropriately. Yeah, iNuget file system. I don't want to call it iNuget file system. Right, so yeah. So did it start writing that? Not yet. So these things, I think we can rename this so it's just I file system, not NuGet file system. So what do we have? Is it down here? Yeah, there it is. Right, so enumerate files. File exists, open for read. Okay. Let's rename this to just iFile system. And rename this to physical file system. And I'm going to move you out to its own file. Move you to your own file. And even then, let's take you and move you down into my abstractions. And up in here, no, right, and no, you know what? No, let's put it right in program. There we go. Right. So that's covered. And where did physical file system go? It's right there. That's fine. I'll leave it there for right now. So let's just double check. Go ahead and run the project again. right? And these are all really good topics that I'll talk about in the summary video for today's stream. Why we decided to move some of these things around and what it's doing now. And that all looks like it worked just fine. More lines of code in the project. So, can we abbreviate lines of code to LOC? Is that? Nah. I don't like how the path wraps. I guess that's all right for now. All right, commit those couple changes. No, before I commit them. Update our developer documentation, and we'll add the docs folder. To include information about the NuGet scanning updates. There we go. And while it's doing that, if I generate the markdown version of this, format, I can just do MD, right? We can open that. And while that's working and doing its thing, we can take a look at the preview here. So that shouldn't be a warning. So need to update the reports. Those shouldn't be warnings that there's 0. Those should be good. So let's take the summary and update the summary there. That needs a little bit of work. Updated, added scanning and analysis section. NuGet scanning architecture. Cool. Let's add those, and then I will... we're not going to include you. And, yeah. And then we can come back... the summary on the scanner. If nullable is enabled, yeah, okay. It's in the summary. The top level summary. Here we go. No, if it equals 0, it should be success. Yeah. Run it again, verify, and then I think we should tell it to start generating some tests. Yeah. Okay. right? We've covered a lot of things here. Let's start building some tests, and then let's start building some CI to start verifying that CodeMedic is running properly, right? Let's see. .NET new, is it XUnit I can do? Right, I can do something like that. Right. .NET add reference. I need to go up 2. There we go. Source. What? .NET SLN add. Going up 1 to test. Cool. Hey, how you doing there, Mythin? So, there we go. Yeah, okay. And let's do the NuGet inspector. Do these two side by side here. Because I hate writing unit tests. Start writing our first set of unit tests for the NuGet inspector class. Period. Use MOQ for mocking. And I'd also like you to structure tests with given, when, then syntax. Go figure this out. So we're building a command line tool that's going to make it easy for .NET developers to take a look at the health of their project. And right now we're starting with the simple top level. We're looking at the projects that are in the current folder and report out about the packages, their references, and we'll eventually build a bill of materials. Not haiku. What? Oh, it shouldn't be NuGen. It should be NuGet. Good. There we go. 3 stream streak. There you go. Let's go. Is that the video summarizing what we did yesterday? Yeah. Yep. So I'll record another one of those after today's stream, and we'll add that to the playlist. So, yes, comprehensive unit tests. So, let's see what it comes up with. Yeah, I was saying earlier that SharpSight isn't a project that I have a vested interest in. Like, I was building it, it was fun, I was enjoying it, but it's not something that I need. This is a project that is going to turn into a indispensable tool that I'm going to want to use in my projects, right? Necessity helps drive invention, helps motivate. That's why some of my other projects have kind of stagnated, because it's like, well, I don't really need that. I was kind of building it for more of a teaching thing, but it's not something that I need, you know? So, .NET test. Yeah, what do we got down here? Testing. Could not enumerate central package management files. Access denied. Oh, here it goes with its test documents. So, like, I'm not saying that I'll never go back to it, but it's not something that is a priority right now. Right? As a content creator, my number one priority is to attract more folks to view. Number two priority is work on something that I find interesting, that you find interesting. And so on from there. So this says it created a bunch of tests. Well, what do we got here? Holy smokes. Give invalid root path when creating inspector, then initialize successfully. See. Okay. What is this? Given file system throws exception when refreshing, then handles gracefully. Cool. So, right, let's keep all this, and if I go over to this, right, I should be able to run this John here. Building. There it goes, testing. And in a third of a second, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. So what did it write as far as a document here? Under NuGet Inspector test coverage. No. No, I want that up at that project level. Start with it there. Add all the things. There we go. Added initial unit tests for NuGet inspection. Because I know there's more that we're going to need to do there and push. You found it to be an excellent learning resource to working on Sharp site? Okay. All right. So that's out there. I want to do... What else? I want to... Like, also, there's things on Tags app that I want to go back and like learn how to do some AI things with it and make that a little bit more interesting and fun. But it's... The viewership on the Tags app stuff went down a little bit. You took some inspiration from it for how to build a white label web app. Oh, that's very cool. Okay. Okay. I think the last thing that I want to do here is start adding a GitHub action to build, run tests, publish report. Not this one. If I click into here and do that, try again. Actually, run it here. And I feel like I should write a script for that. Ooh. And 10 more. All right. All right. This, I think, is okay for here. But when we get to other reports, we're going to want that full list. Let's add a reference to... And CodeMedic CS Proj. Yeah. Let's generate an initial GitHub action that will run on pull requests to the main branch and when code is merged to the main branch that will build and execute tests for the CodeMedic solution. Yeah, go. You may or may not have copied the localization feature. Totally. That's why, that's why I built it. Yep. The SignalR connection for server-side render mode is working differently. Okay. Created ci.yaml. Runs on all pushes to main. Tests across, ensuring cross-platform compatibility. Uses .NET 10. Checkout code with full history. Needed for NerdBank Git versioning. Sets up .NET 10. Restore dependencies. Build the solution. Run all tests. Upload test results as artifacts for review. Build, run tests. Okay. Added initial CI script. And let's go back out here. Yes. Let's generate script files that can be run in Bash or PowerShell or even at a Windows command prompt that will run CodeMedic with the .NET run command against itself from the root of the project repository. Period. I want to ensure it calls the health parameter. Not calls, includes. Go generate those script files. You contributed the initial version of localization. Yeah. And happy at some point to go and do more with it. Yeah, sure. Cool. Do it. You've just picked up a fault. Oh, no. Take care, Patty Boy. Thanks so much for tuning in. See y'all on Monday. Yeah. Yep. And you can do that for all the file operations. I just told you you could do it for all the... I just told you you could do it for all file operations. And that should probably be a CMD file, not a BAT file. Right, at some point we'll include run health, and yeah, this will be a first start, and then I think at some point we should wrap in a Docker container. Yeah. Just about out of coffee, man. Some more ideas in the project that you needed for inspiration. Oh, okay. Okay. I don't know what it's doing, but it's paused. And that feels weird. Yeah, I'll probably wrap up here in just a little bit. It amazes me. One second here while we're waiting for that to run. Yep, that's me. Yeah. I send out emails to folks and they just do not read them. Like corporate emails that I send go into a black hole. Hello from insert place. Need to build a feature that users can use to tell them where some person needs to go. Oh, that's a Charlie thing. That component is out there. What are you doing? You're just kind of stuck here. Like, you started creating a run health PS1, and then what? We're going to move that to run health CMD. Well, thank you. Thank you. That's very cool. I appreciate that. Create a PowerShell command that emulates the run health. I can @sign that. Yeah. There you go. Thank you. Cool. Added scripts so that we can easily test, so we can easily run CodeMedic against itself. Right? Right, so if I do run health, yeah, do the command one, that's fine. Boom, done. Very cool. Let's merge that in. Yeah, little fixes and features. Here we go. So edit and Copilot, go generate a summary. Might take a minute. I just want you to copy these things and paste them into that John up there. Good enough. Yep, ready. Merge it. Delete the branch. Are we going to see the action run? Yes. It's running on Ubuntu, Windows, and Mac. Right, so we can make sure that it works on all the operating systems. We're in ads on Twitch for the next 45 seconds. We'll be done here in just a minute. So on Ubuntu, nope, failed. Failed on Mac OS as well. This is actually good. Just manage NuGet packages for solution. You're learning how to use central package management. Yeah. Operation canceled. Because it failed on Mac. Explain the error. Mm-hmm. Oh, that's good. Yeah. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to leave this out here for something to fix for next time. But for now, it works. We're getting somewhere. We don't have any user docs yet, do we? Quick reference. There's... Yeah, for now I'll leave it like that. So, hey Billy, welcome. You're new to Twitch and just joined the stream. Welcome, that's great. Could anyone tell me if there's a way to see how MCP agent has been used, evolved since the beginning? I'm not working on an MCP agent. But I am going to be recording a review of here's what we did on today's stream. I'm going to go get some lunch after I end here, and then I'll record and edit and upload that to YouTube. But didn't work on an MCP today. Eventually, we'll add MCP capabilities to this. And I think that's something we should document. Allow CodeMedic to be run as a command line MCP. I think that's a fine feature. Should be, given how .NET MCPs, standard IO MCPs are structured, should be actually pretty easy to do here. Also here, there was a great comment earlier today. Enable CodeMedic to be run in interactive mode. I think there's something interesting about being able to run in interactive mode as well. But those are features that we can build towards and grow. This I feel like we can build this right now with just a couple lines of Docker. Right? Like that's not hard to do. Git branch feature little bits. This one. Cool. Right, this should actually not be... Just use Docker CS proj arguments. Exactly. Right, so... Close this one. Do a new on that. Bring it over here. Close you. And there's the CS proj right there. I'd like to be able to run this command line tool from inside of a Docker container so that at the command line we can just do a Docker run and pass in an argument for what type of interaction we want to do with CodeMedic. Period. Update the CS proj so that we generate a Docker file from this project appropriately and generate a script at the root of the repository here that will build that Docker container with appropriate version number from NerdBank Git versioning for us. I know I'm trying to one-shot this, but let's see what it can do for us here. So there we go. Right. So it's looking at the NerdBank Git versioning version, the program. I don't need a Docker file. Hey, Darthless sent you. Hello. How are you, my friend? Right? Yeah. And rumbling through here. Yeah, it created a Docker file. I didn't necessarily want a Docker file. Copied in version, the projects, .NET restore. I mean, it's a lot more. It's a lot more structured and very clear on what it's doing here. It's not terrible. You weren't following me? That's okay. Hope you're doing well on this fine Friday. So how do I execute Docker with this so that I pass in an argument? Yeah, I agree with you. I would prefer not to maintain a file if I don't need to, but because of these couple steps here, I'm okay with that. Yeah, give me a Docker ignore out there too. So, what are you gonna Docker ignore on this, John? Yeah. Yeah, ignore the scripts. That's pretty good. Create a README for Docker usage in the user docs folder. That's fantastic. Yes. The copy command, copy ... Well, it's yeah, that one right there. Yeah. But right, doing that copy after you do the restore and copy over the projects, that's pretty good. Actually, I think the version, we should push that down. Because as the version changes, it's going to force a rebuild every time. Right? Yeah, sure, go ahead. It found it, and it ran it on itself. What images did we get? CodeMedic 01, 01.6, blah, 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 preview, streams. Okay. Cool, and it's updating my docs. Yeah, version should be moved down, I think, in the Docker file. Right? So what Hayos Engine, Napalm, and I are kind of talking through here. The steps when you build a container, right, with the instructions here in the Docker file, will be cached. So if the files do not change, the contents and the output of these instructions doesn't change, then it caches them and it skips right through them very quickly. And as soon as it hits something where there is a change, from that point on, it's executing every step. And our version file is going to update frequently. So I'm in agreement that we probably want to move version after restore. Do you even need the file in the container? Yes, because the csproj builds and looks for it and includes that version number in the report. So if you're reading the value, just pass in the value to the build. Oh, that's good. Oh, that's good. I like where you went with that. Napalm. Yeah, right? On line 10 here, we're copying in the version file from outside, and this version will change frequently and force a rebuild and recaching of some of these other files, period. What if instead we passed in the version number as a parameter to the Docker build process? Question mark. I don't want to tell it exactly what to do, but give it at least that push in the right direction, because I might not have all the things here. Yeah, breaks the cache whenever the version changes. Isn't copying it? Yes, and that copy ... is also copying in the project files as well. You want to copy those things in earlier so that when it builds, it handles it. It does the restore of package versions earlier in the process. So what did we do here? Version, assembly, version, file, version, informational version. And it's passing those into the .NET build and publish as parameters. Good. So then as it's doing this, it's getting those versions, writing them out. It needs to pass these in. Ah, there it is. There we go. And the bash script. Yep, there they are. Look at that. Ah, you love a good grep. And then... there we go. Right, look at that. Cached, 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 cached. Fantastic. Update the documentation, publish this, mark it as finished, and move on. I like it. And we'll update the continuous integration script in the future, not yet, so that when we do publish, we build Docker images and publish those. So yes. Before version JSON was copied early, which invalidated all downstream cache. Version information is passed as build arguments, version, assembly version, file version, informational version. So first build is still the same, 22 seconds. Version change only, less than 1 second. All cached, 95% faster. But when there is a code change, runs in 15 seconds. Nice. Right? That's a big deal right there. Big thanks, Napalm. Love the insight. Good stuff. Yep, keep all that. That is user docs, Docker usage, building the Docker image, running CodeMedic in Docker, run a health check based on the current directory, present working directory / repo. Nice. When we have interactive mode, this will get a heck of a lot easier. Yeah, this will get a heck of a lot easier. So let's add that. Is this only... I want to do a pull request on all branches. Isn't it just remove that? Can we update the CI so that it runs on all pull requests, regardless of branch? What was that? There was a ding ding, and I don't know where it was. Yeah, okay. That I was right. It was just remove the thing. Okay. So yeah, add that one in. Commit, publish branch, push it up to my origin, and we'll mark this for number 4. Wow. That's kind of nice. And now it's going to go and try and build and fail because it isn't working properly on Mac, and that's okay for right now. Automated build on Mac OS is failing unit tests. Are you ready for this? Label that as bug. Yep, go. Go fix it. And I will let it go at that. And we'll see what Copilot delivers next time. Thank you so much for tuning in, friends. It has been a pleasure writing code with you this week. So many good things that we got done today. Little cleanup things so that our CodeMedic command line tool now is doing more analysis of NuGet packages. It's reporting lines of code, and we're starting to see features complete and get insight into more of our projects. Right? We updated to include an error report if there were mismatched package versions across the solution, and we even added the ability for CodeMedic to be packaged as a Docker container so that it can be delivered and run as a container. No need to have any .NET tools installed on your system. That's some pretty cool stuff, right? So, let me take a look. There's one more thing I wanted to take a look at there. I want to take a look at the Docker images for... Oh my gosh, I've got too many images here. It's 200 meg right now for the CodeMedic image. That's still a lot. Wonder what we could do to shrink that. You know what I'm saying? So maybe that's a task for next time. So, yeah. I'm just cleaning up that branch. There we go. Let me see who else is streaming on the big Twitch TV network that I can get you connected to. Let's see here. Well, we haven't. Let me see here. Who else? No. Let's do this. Yeah, let's go raid Tim Baudet. Let's go raid Tim. It's been a while since we've raided him. And Tim's working on... Oh, that's not... I misspelled his name. I put an extra E in there. I'll be back on Monday. We're going to be coding every day of the week next week. It's going to be a ton of fun. I hope you tune in. And next week, we're going to be starting our fundraiser for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. We meant to do it in May, but we'll be back doing it next week. There'll be all kinds of shenanigans. There'll be raffles. There will be giveaways. There will be incentives for donations that you make to help out the kids, the staff, the folks at St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. More on that on Monday. All right? I hope you take some time and take a look at CodeMedic. Tell your friends, tell your families. Take a look. Maybe there's something you can contribute. Maybe there's something you can learn from. So, but until I see you Monday, have a great time with Tim. And I wish you good health and good coding. Take care.